Excited about tomorrow. Great opportunity versus a team obviously that showed us how good they were, coming off a really good win versus Illinois. I mean versus Maryland. Um, so we've got to move on from Iowa, which was a terrific win for us, um, and rebound and see if we can have a better performance this time.
Is there anything that stick out to you or remain with you from that Illinois game?
Our transition defense was really bad. Our half-court defense was bad, and I think it's got a lot better since that game. If you don't get stops versus them, you can't get out on the break, and it becomes very, very challenging to score in the half-court.
Does it really help that much to look at it anymore?
It's painful, but you got to learn from it. Certainly, and I think we're better now than we were back then. But I think Illinois is better too.
What's prevented Illinois from beating that team more often?
Youth, yeah, they're young. I remember when we played them. I said to Brad Underwood, I can't believe you only have 4 games. But it evens out, or 4 wins. Excuse me, it evens out. And they had a tough schedule. They had road games. They played Maui. But I know any team in this league does not want to play them.
When you look at that game in particular, when it comes to the leaders on your team, Amir, Jordan, Dupree, how have they been since that about keeping these guys, the rest of the team, engaged and coming with energy and focus? And
I think that anytime you lose like that on the road and you play like that, it opens your eyes that you got to compete in this league. And if you don't, you're going to get beat. And it's tough to win on the road. That's why it's so important to win at home like we've done. I think we're 10-1. And it was a great environment the other night. We need our fans tomorrow. Be safe, If you do come, be safe. But if you're here, we need you. You bring it like you did versus Iowa because that fuels us.
Do you think there's a possibility that because of the weather that there might be just not as much of a home court advantage per se?
I hope not. Everybody needs to be safe. I want to be clear on that. But we need a home court. It's very, very important. So I don't want to blow it off like, toughen up and come to the barn. I don't want to send that message. But if you do come, bring it a little extra because we need you. Williams Arena is as big of an advantage as anything that we have here. So we need it. But we also need everybody to be safe, too.
Jordan get the recognition and the big picture that he deserves for everything he can do for your team?
Probably not just because he's people are obsessed with the NBA. But what he has done is remarkable. I mean, second all-time in the Big Ten ever, rebounding the ball. The double-doubles that he's done. How reliable he is, how durable he is. It's remarkable, and he just continues to find ways to do things, especially on the rebounding side of it, that are amazing.
Any update on Daniel? Will he be available tomorrow?
Still day-to-day, so we'll look at him today. We walked through stuff yesterday. We didn't practice, and then he did a little bit of individual instruction. So we'll see today and be able to decide by game time. Still not sure.
What's the key to perform better against Bajaniashvili?
Yeah, he physically took us to the woodshed. He got I think 10 points off of rebounds. He was just really, really physical with his moves. So we just got to be tougher down there.
Amir, I compare it to like kind of the Carson Edwards effect, where in the beginning of the Big Ten play, you relied so much on his scoring that, when he wasn't scoring that way, it kind of affected the offense. It seems now that you're getting balance from a lot of different people, and he doesn't necessarily have to be like that go-to guy.
Yeah, I mean that's the plan from an offensive standpoint. Sometimes it doesn't look like we have a plan, but we need balance. I want 5 guys on the court at all times who could score, make plays. I thought that you saw many times versus Iowa multiple people touching the ball. and then something good was happening. We were getting post touches, kicking it back out. So I think with everybody that's starting to evolve, it opens up the court.
That's it. Gabe, does he have a little more of a green light, or was that just kind of in the flow of the game that he got as many shots up as he did?
They all have a green light, to take good shots. And I think Gabe's starting to understand that people are going to fly at him. And I think you saw really good shot fake side steps, really good drive into the basket. That's what you got to do, when you have a rep of a shooter, which we know on the team that he's not just a shooter. He does a lot of other great things as well.
You mentioned the improved defense. Have there been any other changes post-Illinois that you've seen?
How many games have we played since Illinois? 4? 3. I don't know. I think coming back from the next game was Penn State. We needed to find a way to win that game because our confidence was down offensively. And then I think that we went at Michigan, and even though offensively I thought we were good, but we just turned the ball over, we just found a way to be right there. And, you never like a moral victory, but it gives you a little bit of confidence that you compete with such a good team. And then offensively, and what we did last game, the beauty of last game was it wasn't a play that we ran that was the reason we scored. It was how we ran it, how we spaced, how we moved it. So I think it taught those guys fundamental part of it can carry over.
How does the game planning and preparation change when you have a rematch, like a 2-week window especially?
Yeah, it's unique when you just played them. So that part of it is somewhat good because we only had 2 days to prepare. So we haven't had a lot of time. We didn't go live yesterday. So I think offensively they've changed a little bit. They don't do exactly what they were doing leading up to our game. But they've got good offensive firepower, and they're tough defensively, and he's a really good coach. So it's we're going to have to bring it.
With your rotation, I noticed Jarvis and Brock got in, or even Isaiah got in there first half, not so much second half. Obviously, Mott's played more because of Daniel being out. How have you figured out kind of your bench, and from game to game, has it just changed?
Last game was different because they essentially played 2 centers. So I had been going with Mike at the backup 4 a lot. I like him there. But defensively, it's hard when you got those 2 big guys, and they're throwing it in every single time. It's game by game. It's hard. You want everybody to play. You hate you want everybody to feel value in the wins, and they have value whether they see it or not. But our bench guys, Brock helped us win out Wisconsin. Mott's helped us win this game. Mike, Isaiah, Jarvis, all those guys, Eric, Daniel, they've all helped us win at certain spots. So just because you played a lot or didn't play a lot is irrelevant to the next game.
As you pointed out, obviously Mott's not playing 2 games or whatever, and then all of a sudden having that kind of contribution, it speaks to the kind of attitude that he has about that.
Yeah, we've got really good kids. It's a really fun group to be around, and they don't feel sorry for themselves on the bench if they're not playing. At that Penn State game, I played 7 guys, and they were excited we won. There's no better teammate than Jarvis Omersa on that bench, and he hasn't played a lot, and I think he's going to be a really, really good player. And when you got guys like Mike, and who's a great teammate, it fuels everybody else. So with a guy like Mott, who hadn't played a lot, and it's hard when you're a senior and you don't play a lot because you're wondering what's the next step. So you got to get them to buy into winning and helping the team in other ways, and being ready when your number's called. All righty, thank you.